afternoon garage. So look, there's no car on the lift today, and I have a different color shirt. You know what that means? That means I'm going to be introducing another car into the channel. So ever since I was a kid, I really loved the air-cooled Porsche 911s. In fact, there was a movie called No Man's Land.
Getting lousy gas mileage. Says he wants a tune-up. You got a couple hours?
About a couple minutes.
Isles. Isles. Isles, you deaf or you just dumb?
It's called concentration.
You want to concentrate getting in my good graces?
By doing what?
Guy stuck up in the hills in a dead cabriolet. Want to go up there and fix him up?
Nope.
No.
Had Charlie Sheen, and man, I was hooked.
Hey. You car thief? Malcolm sent me. I know. I'm just joking. I'm Ted Varick. Bill Isles. How you doing, Bill? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. What about this one? Not too shabby, huh?
Nah. Italian trash. Besides, I only steal Porsches. Like that one.
Now in the movie, Charlie Sheen was specifically a Porsche thief.
Check it out. That's our girl.
You're out of your mind. What about the valets?
Oh, come on. Those guys never pay attention. Besides, I have the key. Look, Malcolm got the spares all screwed up, but it is definitely one of these.
Oh, great.
Not the best career in the world, but you know, just having the screenshots of the cars going up and down the road, and whoever made that movie, I know had a really good interest in air-cooled Porsche 911s.
What now? Buckle up. What happened?
Well, I've been looking for one for years and years. You know, the market kind of went up for a while, then it went down. I know in the 90s you could probably buy something reasonably decent for about $20, and nowadays that same car is going to cost you $40,000 or $50,000. Not exactly affordable, especially if you buy crap cars like I do and lose all kinds of money. But hey, I finally found one, and it's way better than I thought I would ever be able to get for my first air-cooled Porsche. Let's check it out. Alright guys, here it is, my 1977 Porsche Targa Turbo. So this car had been on eBay for a number of months. Not quite sure how many months it was on eBay before I noticed it, but it at least went through 2 different bid cycles before I ended up actually bidding on it and winning the thing. So you know, I took delivery in May, and I bid on the thing, around December, maybe January time frame. And then the auction ended, and it failed, and it went back online, and somebody else won it, and then it failed, and it went back online again. At this point, I was kind of curious. The pictures that I had were real basic about the car. It showed the side of the car, the rear, the front, the supposed turbo engine that it had in it, a picture of the odometer, a really small picture of the trunk, which who knows if there's any rust in there. And that was pretty much it. What I did notice though was all the snow on the ground. Now, the picture looked really good because, you know, you had this nice Guards red exterior color and the white of the snow. Looked pretty good in those pictures, huh? Well, first thing that kind of went through my mind is this car is from a rusty area of the United States. Being New York, they call that, you know, the Rust Belt, I guess. A lot of cars you pull out of that area, they're really nasty. So I tried to get a hold of this guy many, many times through the different eBay auctions he was having and tried to either both call him and then message him. Never ever received a reply or a response. However, I knew the car kind of existed because it kept on going back online again. You know, and I really couldn't see where the guy just kept on collecting deposits. I didn't know anything about it. Asking question after question, never answered a one of them. So in April, I bid and won the auction. At the very last second, that's how I usually play eBay, is I just wait till it's got like 5 or 6 seconds left, put in the last bid. So I really wasn't worried about the purchase too much because the way eBay Motors works is if you buy a car, you just have to pay that minimum deposit, and if you put it on a credit card, then you get credit card protection. But it doesn't really obligate you to buy the car, which is kind of strange, even though they have an eBay money-back guarantee through eBay Motors for, I don't know, $500,000 or something like that. I don't know really what that covers. I've never done this before, and it was kind of unnerving buying a car with a ghost. Somebody who never answered their phone and never answered any emails. But the fact that I was only going to lose $500, I was willing to take that chance. So now, the auction ends. I'm the high bidder. I contact the guy. I'm like, hey, need to know where this car is located. Want to know if you can finally tell me some information about the car. 4 days had passed. The guy never got a hold of me. So I was really kind of curious. You know, I sent my deposit in right away, within an hour or something like that, because I thought that, you know, hey, if I give a deposit right away, he'll be forced to talk to me, give me some information where the car is located, does it have rust or anything like that. And that brings me to the rust problem. So what I did was, since the guy wouldn't get a hold of me, is I did some research, found out where he was located. Well, you can see by one of those pictures, it's taken in front of a body shop. It says Auto Body on it. So what I did was, I found out the zip code for the area, and then I typed in Auto Body Shop into Google. And it gave me pages and pages of auto body shops in the New York area. And I can go to each one of them and look at, you know, street views and that kind of thing. Well, didn't take me long before I found the right one. Didn't say Auto Body on it, but it was definitely the same storefront, same brick, same cracks on the side of the mortar and that kind of thing. I knew I had the right place. So what I did was I did a street view around the building to try to kind of see what kind of area this was in. When I did, I was really disappointed. Around the back side of the building, I saw something like this. See, now, those vehicles there are all rusty. The fenders are all blown out, that truck. So everything around that building was kind of rotted out. So what was ever connected to the back of that building was likely connected to the front, and the car probably came from there.
3 days later.
I talked to the guy on the phone. He assured me, oh no, it's fine, it doesn't have any rust. I asked him, I said, is it really a turbo? And he said, yeah, it's a turbo. Looked like a turbo to me. He says he had some problems with it. But if you know anything about 911 turbo engines, they go for $35,000, $40,000. So you definitely don't want to have a bad engine in one of these things and kind of rely on not doing an LS swap or something crazy like that. You know, I wanted something that was all original, pretty much, hadn't been messed with. Was going to fly over there and check it out. The guy assured me, you know what, doesn't really have any major rust problems. He even asked me, what do you think? We drive these cars in the snow on the East Coast? And I don't know. I don't know what you do. I do know I've seen some terrible rust outs on specifically these 911s. Really anxious to get it up on the lift, look underneath. and see what I bought. Okay, all I see is a bunch of surface rust underneath here. Looks like it's got original 911 tie rods. So you can upgrade those to turbos. Pan looks really good though. No real problems that I can see. Engine looks pretty good though. There's the oil tank. See the oil tank's leaking there. Probably more than just out of that plug too. Hey, overall, it's a pretty clean chassis. So that didn't look too bad. There was some rust on some brackets underneath there. Nothing I can't fix. I'm really happy with the purchase. You know, their interior is kind of messed up, and you know, but there's really no rust issues. There's a little bit down here that you didn't see, right below the headlight. That's perfectly normal. You kind of store water underneath there. But overall, I'm happy as a clam. So let me tell you what I'm going to do with this car. So my goal is to not make it a complete and total restoration. I really don't want to tear the whole thing apart. You know, it needs some engine work. It really barely got on the lift. I tried to drive it a little bit around the neighborhood even. The clutch chattered so bad.
Here's a new clutch.
Oh yeah, that's a chattery clutch. So some of the things that I really want to do with this car is, I'm really not fond of these lights here. These lights they call the sugar scoop headlights. They're not the most desirable headlights on these. You can see that it has the original bulbs in it even, the original Wagners. I'm going to make this car pretty much Euro spec without the rear tail lights, the amber tail lights. Another thing I had to have with one of these cars are the turbo flares on it. Now it does have the turbo engine, so the turbo flares look appropriate with this car, and it widens it out, you know, probably about 8 inches in the rear and maybe 4 in the front. Now you can also see that it has the Cup 1 wheels on it, which has all kinds of back spacing on it to try to get the wheel out to where it belongs, and the brakes look like they're way inside of there. So I'm going to be changing those out to a different wheel. I know that I have tastes in different things than a lot of people have, especially when you're talking about Porsche 911, and they typically go with a Fuchs style wheel. Not really fond of that. I think you see those all over the place. I kind of like the more 5-point star style wheel, so I'll be kind of changing to something similar to that, and also upsizing the wheel maybe another inch from where it is, and probably 3 inches from stock, because this came with 15-inch wheels on it from the factory. Another thing I didn't know about was that turbo engine. Does it really have a turbo engine, or just the intercooler on it that we saw in a picture? I don't know, but I was really anxious to lift up the deck lid in the rear and kind of look at it, and yep. It's definitely a 1982 original Porsche turbo engine. So I'll also be recovering the Targa top, putting in new carpet, do something with that radio in there. I think originally these cars out of Europe, they had some kind of a shortwave radio. They all used Blaupunkt in there. I'll try to find something like that to put in there to make it kind of, you know, period correct. And then put kind of a Bluetooth stereo in there, you know, 4 speakers, nothing out of the ordinary. But I want it to sound good. Probably going to repaint this in the future, but for now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get it all together, make it really nice for what it is, put new carpet in it, take that engine out, put a new clutch in it, probably going to kind of freshen up the motor a little bit, maybe some valve guides, some valve seals in there, maybe some exhaust, and call it a day and drive the thing and just enjoy it. Another thing I really want to do is the wheels I'm going to put on are going to be kind of a deep dish style. Since this has turbo flares on it, I kind of want the wheels to have a bunch of negative offsets so that, you know, you see the brakes and that kind of thing. It's got 2 piston caliper brakes in the front and the rear. They're all disc brakes, but They really don't look very good, and they probably don't stop very well. I also know that this car has a brake issue because when I drove the thing into the garage, man, you could see the whole car just kind of lurch to a stop when you let off on the accelerator. So something's going on. I don't think it's one particular caliper or anything like that. It's probably just the master cylinder, or there's a brake fluid restriction somewhere. So after going into it, I'm going to put 4-piston Brembo brakes on it. Should look pretty good by the time I'm done. There's lots of weather strip on this car that's kind of cracked. You know, like I said, the car had been neglected for a number of years. So it's got some cracks in the weather stripping and the window, and also some chipping on the door handles and some chipping on the door sills. So I'll be doing something with that. Hopefully I can get that in to maybe powder coat those parts or something like that. Keep them from chipping again, especially the door handles. But we'll see how that goes. You know, the car's got this different aftermarket bumper on it. I kind of like it. Think it's different than all the rest of them that kind of tuck underneath the car. Maybe I'll be doing something with this. I'm kind of a fiberglass guy, so I was thinking about cutting it up a little bit and changing the dimensions. Definitely need to do something with it because it kind of hangs out on this side and it's really not bolted on correctly, and it kind of stands proud here in the front, so maybe the whole thing will have to be sectioned and moved back a little bit. But I can do that. That's not a problem. I kind of want to stick with the way it was. I wish I knew who made that. All in all, I'm so excited with what I have here. It's just amazing that this car has basically just been untouched. But hey, I'd rather have it like this, where, you know, some people did just the bare minimum repairs, you know, maybe wrapped a wire around the engine and tighten up the bolt, that kind of thing. Rather have them do that rather than take it all apart, discover we don't need half these parts, leave it half together, put aftermarket crap on it. None of that's been done. So I'm really lucky. This is a great car for me to take and just kind of freshen up a little bit and have a driver. Well, that's about all for now. But if you like this car, or you know anybody that owns any of the other cars that I work on, just let them know. Please subscribe. Thanks for hanging out with me today.